15th of December 2023, Forest lose 2-0 to Spurs and go 17th in the table. 15th of December 2024, Forest are 4th in the Premier League. Look how far we've come. Welcome to my match reaction. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well. And welcome to Forest 2, Villa 1. And I still can't believe it. I really can't. If you guys are as happy as I am as we currently sit 4th before the Sunday games go out, let me know by hitting that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new here. If we get over 630 likes, we will release a rival reaction, just like the one we did with the Man U lot last week. I got some ideas for this one. So if you guys want to see that tomorrow, make sure you hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed. And Grumpy Old Reds will be tonight as well. You're not going to want to miss it. And if you do want to buy me a coffee, scan the QR code or click the link that's pinned in the comments. All right, there's a lot to talk through. Obviously, we did the player ratings where we get your feedback and kind of instant match reaction. This is a few hours later. I am knackered. I am shattered, but I don't care, man. I'm almost scared to sleep because I'm going to wake up and someone will tell me that nothing has changed from last year. You're still 17th. You're about to go through PSI. You're going to have points deducted. VAR is going to screw you over. We'll just about survive. Like, the events that have happened in the last 12 months are absolutely mind-boggling. They really are. This is why, with all due respect to him, I wanted Cooper out, because I can see the potential of this club. And under Nuno, I can't think anymore there's any Forest fan who's not fully behind what he's doing, how he's getting out the players, especially after the results of the last couple of weeks, well, in the last week alone, beating Manchester United away, beating Villa at home. This is a Villa team that have beaten Bayern Munich in the Champions League. For a long spell, they were top in the most proclaimed trophy in football, obviously domestic football, I'm talking, in the Champions League. They're flying in the Champions League. They're doing all right in the Premier League as well. And Forest got the 3 points. But let's break it down. Look, there's a few ways to look at this game. I'm going to cover as much as I can. And I am going to talk about Sky, their punditry, because I've seen it now and it's absolutely embarrassing. But the first half, as a spectacle, was boring. There's no two ways about it. If you were a neutral watching that game, I'd be surprised if you tuned in for the second half. But the first half, tactically, was absolutely spot on. I remember saying at halftime yesterday that this is what Nuno wants. This is how Nuno is going to be pragmatic, set up tight, make sure the clean sheet is intact and what have you. And that's exactly what happened. And then it's not until the second half, probably the first time this season really that I can think of, that Forest go behind. Nuno makes a real attacking, game-changing substitution. And then the handbrake's off, the shackles are off, Forest are pressing, winning the ball up high, doing all the right things and almost just forcing that ball into the net. It was crazy to see. I still can't believe it. But before we go further in this, let's touch on this penalty incident, because the Villa fans are up in arms about Anderson pulling Rodgers' arm and what have you. The Sky are worried about their cartel Sky 6 and want to protect them. They now see Forest as a threat. And they're all kicking off. I saw Jamie Redknapp saying it's a blatant penalty, yet ignores what precedes the penalty beforehand and just goes on about the pull on the arm. For me, it's quite plain and simple. Look at the chain of events. Anderson nearly has his shirt taken off his back. You can see that bra thing that they wear underneath. That's how much Rodgers took his shirt off. That is a foul. End of, put the debate to bed, drop the mic and what have you. Nothing matters after that. If it's getting reviewed, the footage has to start from there. In terms of the penalty, well, firstly, if you look at the first point of contact, it's outside the box when he grabs hold of his arm. So that comes into, is it the new laws of the game? What are the exact laws of the game? Is it at first contact or is it at final contact? So that in itself makes it dubious. And secondly, Rodgers goes down like he's been punched in the face by Mike Tyson. So there's so many changes. I can see why it wasn't given. Then they're complaining about our second goal and that it was a blatant foul on Matty Cash, even though twice Matty Cash messed up. The one where Morata comes across him because he's waiting for the ball rather than meeting it, and he just wasn't strong enough against Elliot Anderson. I don't think Anderson fouled him. I think Anderson put himself between Matty Cash and the ball. That's football, man. It's a man's sport. Well, technically it's everyone's sport, but you know what I'm saying. And then Anderson is just so calm and composed at getting to the byline. So that's my take on those penalties, or penalty incidents, and the controversial decisions. And I still to this moment have not seen footage that has convinced me that Elanga was offside for Cristiano Ronaldo's goal. So, you know, it comes and it swings both ways. We've had plenty of VARs go against us in the last 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, whatever. So, Villa fans, man, I got a lot of time and respect for you, but you did turn into a bunch of crybabies after that match. I'm not going to lie. You got to take it on the chin and you got to accept that we wanted it more. And your keeper, so-called best keeper in the world, produces a worldie than an absolute doozy against Milenković. That's not form of best keeper in the world. But anyway, let's focus back on Forest. And what does this mean? Are you guys joining me on the bandwagon? Do you now believe that a European charge is on? I think it's safe to say now, and don't jinx-a-ree me and what have you, that Forest are pretty much safe. It would take an almighty collapse, maybe a PSR deduction of 20 points for Forest to be relegated or even in a relegation battle right now. We're what, 4-6 points, something like that, off our total from last year. And there seems to be a bit of a gap happening in and around West Ham and under, you would say, in terms of the relegation battle. So let's put that one to one side. Surely even the most not pessimistic but worried of Forest fans out there, let me know in the comments, you will concede that we are not in a relegation battle. It's the big E word now. Are we in a race for Europe? And the evidence on the pitch now says that we are. Everyone told us that in this month Forest are going to drop like a turd, fast, out of the top 8. Forest have got Man City, Man United, Villa, Brentford, etc, etc. Well, we're 6 points from 9 in those first 3 games. That's a fantastic return. And who knows what's coming up. We've got Brentford, which will be a tough match. Their home form is good. But then we got the likes of Everton and Wolves, and then I think Liverpool, Spurs as well. Spurs. Those are all games where you look at it and you think Forest have a chance. And I want to address another narrative as well. And by the way, we are in a race for Europe, right? And I'm not jinxing it. We are. But a narrative I want to address, which is quite interesting. We all seem to be of the mindset that Forest are better away from home than they are at home. Yet Forest have now played 8 games at home and 8 games away. And we've picked up 14 points at home and 14 points away. So are we really that bad at home? Or are we just looking at the teams we've played away from home, like the Liverpool away, United away, etc., and thinking, well, the games at home were easier? But if you look at it on paper, Forest are exactly as good at home as they are away from home. So it's fantastic. And speaking of fantastic, my captain, man, Milenković, what a player and what a signing he has been. Look, armbands mean nothing these days, but he is that captain without the armband on the pitch for me. And I am getting worried about him to the extent that if I do any opposition previews going forward, I may just tell everyone he's crap. I'm not going to go down this, oh, he reminds me of Vidic line anymore. I'm like, Milenković. Who's he? Who's he? Barely gets into our team. Because I am now worried that teams will start sniffing for him, not in the summer, but as soon as the January window. Now, I fully expect him to be here come the close of that window. There is no chance unless a stupid offer comes in, that someone comes in for him. But he is now clearly, and I can tell you from all our YouTube mates that I've spoken to, fully on everyone's radar. And they are fully scouting him. A lot of the Cartel 6 teams and others are very interested in Milenković. And he is that rock. I love Murillo, but for me, Milenković is outshining him right now because of the simplicity of his football, because of his leadership, because of his qualities, his aerial ability, and everything else. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best signings we've had in years. He is unbelievable. I called him out in the summer, going to be the signing of the season for us. And so far, my boy has not let me down. But let's not shy away from the others who are starting to shine. And I'm talking about Elliot Anderson. What a player he is. His work rates, his defensive work, his attacking work, his ability to dribble, almost stumble through sometimes in his dribble through like 3 or 4 players, his strength, his dead ball accuracy. The kid has everything. The only thing missing from him is a goal. And when it comes, I think the floodgates open up. There is a real nucleus of this team. There is still some gaping holes in it. I still think we desperately need a 6. I gotta say, for me, Kamara was one of the best players on the pitch yesterday. He would slot right into our team. If you ask me who would I take from that Villa team and the Forest team, it would be him. That Sangare number 6 hole that we're missing, that's exactly what he would fill in. So that for me is still a concern. But what I want to see is what I saw in the last 15 minutes. Forest stood off Villa really heavily for 60 minutes. And I get it, because Villa are waiting for the press to be their trigger to play the ball out. There were so many times where you just saw Pau Torres or Diego Carlos just standing waiting for the ball. And there was like this standoff. It's like, all right, well, I'm not going to pass it if you're not going to press. And the Forest attack like, well, we're not going to press until you pass it. And I think that threw Villa off. So I get what Nuno is doing. And I don't mind it to an extent, but at home, I would like to see us more on the front foot. I want to see us playing like we did in that last 15 minutes. High press, giving the opposition no time on the ball. And look at it. It created chances and it created goal scoring opportunities. Once that equaliser went in, you kind of felt, in hindsight, of course, looking back at it, there can only be one winner of this. And that winner was us. And we are 4th. Worst we can be is 5th. This is where the negative thoughts come in my head. I now have to back Man United to beat Man City to keep us 4th. My oh my. How the internal fight will begin within me to have to do that. It's never a team I have ever backed in any game whatsoever. I hate the scum. But for the greater good of Forest, I think I might just not watch the match. I think that might be the easiest thing for me on that. But we are now mixing with Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool to a certain extent. We've put 3 points clear on Villa. We just got a little gap starting to emerge between us and the chasing pack. And we are exactly where we need to be. And I freaking love it. Let me know what your emotions are right now with Forest. And can you believe it? Forest didn't do a Forest. I can't get over that. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget, if you haven't already, get us to that magic number of 660 or whatever I said. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new. We're back later on with Grumpy Old Reds. I think it might be 8 o'clock. I don't know. We'll figure it out and let you guys know. We'll see you on the next video. Grab me a coffee if you've got some spare change. Come on, you Reds. 4th, baby.